When law enforcement becomes indistinguishable from lawlessness, when power stops identifying itself, then anyone can wear that uniform. Tonight, I want to talk about something that's a little bit deeper, more sinister, and should be more scary than policy. Something that cuts to the bone of what keeps a society free versus what makes it afraid, which Rams and I continue to echo is the whole point. Because when people who are supposed to enforce the law start moving in the shadows, when they wear masks, when they refuse to identify themselves, when they skip due process and act like they're above the Constitution, something shifts. Suddenly, law enforcement doesn't look like justice anymore. It looks like kidnapping, and only sometimes with a government logo on their chest. Let's be honest. ICE didn't start this way. They used to at least pretend to respect process. Warrants, identification, some form of accountability. But now we see raids where agents are masked, nameless, unidentifiable, and refuse to even present a warrant. Storming into homes, crashing into vans in neighborhoods in the middle of the night. And in those moments, there's no meaningful difference between an arrest and an abduction. That blurred line is not an accident. It's the whole point. And this part should terrify everyone. When law enforcement stops looking legitimate, it gets very easy for bad actors to fake it. We've already started to see cases of fake ICE agents invading homes, harassing families, extorting people. People who are now too afraid to even call the police for help. And even if they did, how would anyone be able to tell the difference? When real agents and criminals dress alike, behave the same, and refuse to identify themselves, what's left to distinguish them from one another? You can't expect the public to separate the shadow from the state when the state chooses to live in the shadows. Here's what happens next. And history has shown this over and over again. When state power becomes illegible, fear becomes the new law. People don't call for help because they don't know who's going to show up. Communities close their doors. Silence becomes a way to survive. And every knock at the door feels like a threat. The most chilling part, this is not just happening to, and was never intended to just happen to, undocumented immigrants. ICE has already targeted, kidnapped, abducted, detained U.S. citizens and called it misidentification. So yes, anyone can be next because this system that they've created has nothing to do with justice. It's just about power, unchecked, unverified, unaccountable. This is straight out of the authoritarian playbook. Make our processes opaque. Make the uniforms generic. Make the raids unpredictable. Make accountability optional. And when vigilantes or extremists start mimicking those same tactics, the government can shrug and say, well, We don't know who did it. Once again, no concern for national security. They are literally engineering chaos. This is how regimes turn ordinary streets into hunting grounds. So here we are at the clapback. When the people with badges stop proving who they are, they stop deserving the power that they hold. When the law moves like criminals, the law itself is no longer safe. If anyone can wear the uniform, then no one is safe under it. And when power hides behind mask, fear becomes the language of the land. We deserve a system where the law is visible, accountable, distinguishable from the lawlessness it claims to fight. Because if the line between an arrest and a kidnapping disappears, then we're not talking about public safety anymore. We're talking about state manufactured, state engineered, state sanctioned fear.